welcome to a DETV special. I'm your host, Matt Ford. If you've been on social media anytime over the last 5 years, you've probably seen a video of Wilmington native Troy Hendrickson as his comedic alter ego, Aunt Mary Pat DiSabatino. The Facebook page for the foul-mouthed, chain-smoking character has garnered 125,000 followers, and her Instagram follower count isn't far behind. There's the thick Delco accent, an affinity for Fireball whiskey, her job at Acme, and of course, a devotion to the Eagles. More on that one later. The demand for her time has grown so much that the Cab Calloway School of the Arts graduate announced just last month that he's actually going to retire the character's live performances, but not before going on a nationwide tour. And with the tour beginning in just a few days, we're thrilled to have the creator of everyone's favorite aunt here with us today. Please welcome back to DETV, Wilmington's own Troy Hendrickson. Troy, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it. We know you're busy. We appreciate you being here.
A little bit.
So I got to ask the question you probably get asked 100 times a day. Why?
It just seemed like the right time to me. I was very upfront and honest about dealing with anxiety and depression, and I was just overbooking myself, and I felt like I've given the character like the perfect kind of whole full circle story. And I was like, you know what? The Eagles are in the Super Bowl again. I started this character when they won, so I was like, this is kind of the perfect time to bring it full circle and send her off before it gets tired or boring or anything like that. Sure. And I feel like I just feel like the character has kind of just embodied everything that I wanted it to, and I think, you know, go out on top. You know?
Right. No, exactly. That's excellent. So, you know, you've become a household name, truly, not here, but in many states across America in the last 5 years with Aunt Mary Pat. But you're not a stranger to the arts by any means. So can we talk about some of the other artwork that you do, you know, express yourself in? You know, drag is a big one. You had talked about, you know, you produce drag shows at the Queen that you may not even star in. Can you talk about some other things that you do besides Aunt Mary Pat? Yeah,
so like I'm performing as my drag persona, Miss Troy, not just in Delaware, but throughout the tri-state, and produce events too. So we have, I think, 8 drag brunches a month. That I produce, different bingos and pride events and all that kind of stuff, and that really does like bring joy. And I've been doing that before Aunt Mary Pat, and you know, hopefully continue on afterwards. I've been doing videos since I think like YouTube existed. You know, when it first came out. That's how old I am, aging myself a little bit. But you know, since the early days of YouTube, uploading videos, like different impressions and shows and stuff like that. So like I've always been invested in making people smile, and that's always been like my joy. So that'll never change, and hopefully I can continue, you know, doing different things after this too.
Now, it's funny you had mentioned that. I had read an article back in, I guess, 2018, 2019. I had come across it the other day prepping for this interview. And you had said that friends of yours who do drag are still shaking their heads to this day, and because they tease you, and they say that you can put together this slapdash character that brought you so much notoriety, and you had said that, you know, they make fun of me and say things like, of course, the one thing that takes off is you unshaven with some wonky eyelashes and a crappy wig, and they give you a hard time about that, but she really has taken off. Did you expect any of this at all?
No. I mean, honestly, I remember like my first video that I uploaded, I did like a terrible Miley Cyrus impersonation, and wore like a blanket as a wig. So like I've been doing this, but like other than my friends watching the videos, like nothing's ever happened. So that was kind of the same idea going into it, like just making fun of my mom, upload it, my friends get a laugh, and then move on. And then this kind of took off, and I was like, of course, like I've been working so hard, of course, investing in my drag, you know, perfecting it, and then the thing that takes off is this character.
Where did the name come from?
So I based it off my mom. So I was like, Aunt, you know, my mom, everyone calls her Aunt Susie. So I was like, Aunt something. And I didn't know like what I wanted to name her. And my favorite movie is Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. And there's a part where they quote Pretty Woman. And the guy's like, Mary Kate, Mary Pat, Mary Frances. I was like, Mary Pat. I was like, I like that. It like, kind of like represents like a Catholic,
Right.
Irish,
Totally.
Italian Delco mom. So Aunt Mary Pat, and then my friend Katie was like, "Oh, you have to name her DiSabatino because everyone in Wilmington
everyone,
is
right.
DiSabatino." So I was like, "Okay, perfect." And like it was so funny because once I put that on there, DiSabatino trucks all throughout Wilmington pass me
Right.
by all the time. So, oh, perfect.
Right. No, it was
And I
like-
got so many messages like, "Are you related to
Right.
the 4th Street DiSabatinos or the Market Street DiSabatinos?" And I was like, "Yes.
all of them, all the above. So, you really arguably broke boundaries over the past 5 years. I mean, let's be honest. Some of the people, I've been to quite a few of your shows, and I've been to, typical traditional drag shows as well.
Yeah.
Typically, they're two different audiences, right? So you have truly introduced people who would probably have never, let's be honest, will go or have gone to a drag show in their life before to this art form, right? So, I mean, that's a big responsibility that you have on your shoulders and that you're responsible for. How do you feel when you have someone, this straight guy who's going with his wife and they're in their 40s and she's dragging him along and in the drag show community, we know to target those people because it's funny, right? But when they're going and they're seeing Mary Pat and you're making them laugh, are you shocked at all this?
I think like RuPaul's Drag Race has knocked down a lot of barriers and opened so many doors to like middle America viewing drag as an art form. So when I started at Mary Pat, it wasn't like I was hoping to change anyone's perception, but I think just naturally the character has because it's so accessible. Right. And we do have people who normally wouldn't go to drag shows, but they come and they have a good time and they laugh. And the guys who are so resistant
Right.
at first end up having better time than their wives
Right.
do, and it's really really nice to see. And just I've worked in drag shows that are particularly catered to LGBTQ plus communities, and I've worked drag brunches who kind of bring in people who don't normally feel accepted at those kind of places. Sure. So Aunt Mary Pat kind of bridges the gap between them, and it's really nice to see that an unshaven, kind of like rough around the edges woman is the one that's like kind of bringing people together. It's really nice to see.
That is awesome. I'm sure you have fans come up to you afterwards for hours, probably. You could probably be there all day afterwards, right? What is like two of the messages that you can share with our viewers that have meant the most to you?
So like when I first started doing like shows, and this is just like me being me, I was like, all right, meet and greet immediately after, like have people come up and say hello. And I would be there for literally like an hour having all the people come up and just share like what the character means to them. And it's really nice to hear. But like I would get messages from people like, hey, I met you last night and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to take up your time. And I'm like, you should have just said it because like I really love meeting people is like my favorite part of the job. But people who were like, I have to admit, like I was very homophobic, transphobic before, and because of your videos, my child felt comfortable coming out to me. And I mean, just that alone makes what I do worthwhile. And just to be able, in a lighthearted, comedic way, change someone's perspective on how they see themselves or how they see their child or how they see the community as a whole is, it's like shocking, mind-blowing, and just like so heartwarming to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, when you came out yourself, did you feel that you almost wish that you had this media personality that you could have, some would say, drag, you had mentioned RuPaul, right? RuPaul wasn't around a decade or two ago when a lot of people were really struggling. And even before then, it almost made it more mainstream and acceptable to come out, right? So do you think that, Aunt Mary Pat, RuPaul's Drag Show, all these drag brunches have made it easier for young people to come out earlier in life?
Oh, sure. Like, I mean, I wish I had the confidence that I had at 14, because I don't know who that person was, but it doesn't exist in here anymore. But I was just so like confident and ballsy and brash, and I was like, you know what? I'm gay. This is me. I don't care what people think. And luckily, I have a mom who is so supportive. But I think these shows have allowed people to come out and be who they are and really live in a very acceptable society. And I don't know like what the rift was, and people say like, oh, kids are, being persuaded to, be this way. I was like, they're not. They've always been there. They were just afraid to be themselves and afraid to come out. And now, because society has shifted, people feel more comfortable expressing who they are. And that's a beautiful thing.
That is awesome.
So
before we come back and meet Aunt Mary Pat's inspiration, a lot of your fans want to know what's next if we're retiring live performances of Aunt Mary Pat.
Yeah. So, I mean, I say retirement as in the live touring will be complete.
So is it a share retirement?
No.
Is it not? Okay.
It's not like an Elton John
okay.
70 farewell tours. Like, this is the farewell tour. Will Aunt Mary Pat do, special events and stuff like that and pop up? Of course. Like, the character is so ingrained in, our local culture that I feel like, she has to pop up every once in a while for special events. But for me personally, I have a podcast coming out called Blessed Be the Fruit.
Love it.
Which is a dive into wine and talking. So like it'll be focused more on introducing myself to my audience, that can, try to see me in a different light. I still have plenty of drag shows in the area that are popping up. After retirement, I am taking a 20-day cruise, and I cannot wait to kind of relax and focus on myself, no work.
Well deserved.
Come back and really get rolling on different characters. And there have been other videos that I've done, like Delaware Deb was a little kind of fucked off a little bit. So I want to focus on trying other things and see what sticks. And this character has allowed me so many opportunities and has introduced me to so many people that I want to give her the proper send-off. So that's why we're doing the Clocking Out tour.
Well, as a fan myself, I certainly appreciate it and can't wait to come.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to meet Troy's mom, who plays an instrumental part in what formed Aunt Mary Pat. So we will meet her when we come back. Stay with us.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
I don't think mom needs a Mother's Day. I think mom needs a Mother's Year. Just a year off to reconvene and recollect yourself and drink freaking wine from the bottle. It's hard being a mom, Dad's got it easy. All dad got to do is show up one time in a kid's life and wave hi. They treat that man like the freaking king of the world. But if a mom is ever late one time by 5 freaking minutes, they never let your forget it. They will remind you to the day you friggin' die. And all we get is some flowers on Mother's Day? Now, just leave me alone. Let me collect myself. Let me drink an entire box of Franzia. Let me watch my Desperate Housewives on the friggin' Hulus. That's all I want.
We're back with Wilmington's own Troy Hendrickson. Troy took what he calls a leap of faith in 2018 when he quit his day job so he could focus on busting his mom's chops full time. Anyone who's met Hendrickson's loving, tough-talking, Delaware County-born, Price's Corner-raised mother, Susan, knows Aunt Mary Pat is based on her. We're pleased to welcome her here for the first time, the inspiration behind Aunt Mary Pat, Troy's mom, Susan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. We're excited to have you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
When I told people that you would be here, they were like, "She's the real star. You're super exciting. She's so fun to be around." So we appreciate you making time to be here.
Yes, thank you.
So the first thing I want to ask you is, I want to set the scene here, right? So about this time, 5 years ago, 2018, the Eagles had just won the Super Bowl. You uploaded a video lovingly poking fun at your mom. Boom. Something was born. What did you think would happen when you uploaded that video?
Nothing. Honestly, I put it on my personal Facebook page, and then she called me immediately. Take that down. They're gonna know it's about me. And then, it just kind of blew up out of nowhere. People started sharing it, and then she was like, "Yeah, it's about me. It's about me." So.
Now, what did you think when you saw it for the first time?
I was upset. So I called him immediately, like you said, and I said, "Take that down. All my work people are gonna know it's about me. Get that off there right now." And so But then, like I said, he kept calling me every day, like, Mom, oh my God, there's this and that, so many followers, and
Right.
you know, people liking it. And I mean, it was like, it seemed like every hour he was calling me. Then I liked it.
Really? Now, Susan, so your reaction to seeing Aunt Mary Pat for the very first time, what was that like compared to growing with her over these past 5 years?
Like at his first show.
Yeah.
Oh, I cried. I mean, because I just said, all these people are here for my son. I mean, it was wrapped around the building, the line. I mean, there was cops directing. I was just like stunned. I couldn't believe it.
Do you remember that first show?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Angry. Where was it?
It was up on
It was Della Paula's. It's closed now. It's
closed,
but,
yeah.
Honestly, it was like a random, like one-off kind of thing. In my head, I was like, it'll be one appearance, and then it'll die down, and that'll be it, and it'll be my 15 minutes of this character, and then it just like the reaction was insane. Like there was no rhyme or reason to this event. Like I walked out and people just like bombarded me. And it was just like absolute madness, and it was just so fun, so cool. And I don't think I've ever drank that many shots of Fireball before in my life, and never will again.
So now I've been to a couple Aunt Mary Pat shows myself. I've been to 4 and 5. So this is the first time I met you, but I've seen you there before. Whether you're working the merch table or you're at the front row cheering them on, like what's that like as a mom? Just seeing hundreds of people there for your son.
Yeah, it's a really good feeling. And I get a lot of questions, and I mean, they think like my son is really Aunt Mary Pat.
Right.
Because they're like, does he really work at the Acme? Is his daughter, is she really Kelly? Like, I get so many questions.
Or like, it's so funny, like they're like, you look so young to be his mother.
Yes.
Like they think like I'm a 53-year-old
yes.
woman or
They
something.
said, there's no way, you have to prove it, you're not his mom, I said, I'm not really a 93-year-old woman home with the gout, like
Right.
he says. But yeah, so they really like get into it.
Right.
They think it's like a real person. I mean, Aunt Mary Pat is, so.
Right. Now, I imagine your girlfriends go and things like that. What did they think when this all started?
Oh, they're excited. I mean, everybody wants to go.
Yeah.
So
She gets so many calls of people like, hey, it's sold out, but can you get me in?
Can you
Like,
get
we
right?
grew up together.
The hottest ticket in
Hey
town.
girl, like what's going on? And she's like, I don't have any
yeah,
control.
call us
over-
manager. I have nothing to do with this. I'm not on the business side.
Right.
So, and I feel bad because, like I said, everybody wants to go, and like I said, they sell out so quick.
Right.
So, but,
I bought my mom. I had said, what do you want for Mother's Day? She goes, well, I saw on Facebook that Aunt Mary Pat's going on Mother's Day brunch, so it's sold out.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't get tickets, sorry, but we'll be there. So that's what she wants for Mother's Day. So we made it happen. So
that's nice.
I kind of want to talk, since we have you here. I know you haven't done a lot of TV interviews, and Troy has, but
Right.
I want to know just about your relationship growing up and to now, and you seem very close. For anyone just watches you interact at Troy's shows, you seem very close. That seems very genuine.
Oh yeah, he's the love of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, like growing up, like what was he like?
Oh, funny. Just a really good kid. He like would make us sit down and like watch all his shows. He would like perform for us
Right.
at 5 years old. He wanted a mic, a stereo, and so he.
Yeah, I think like my first gift, like that I remember asking for was a microphone that plugged into their like old stereo system.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
I just wanted to sing for them, so I was like 4 or 5. I was like, sit down, I want to sing.
He would dress up and
That's funny. Awesome.
yeah.
So what the character has exploded, I mean, to put it lightly, right?
Right.
When this started, did you think it would get as big and last as long as she has?
No, I actually thought that show, like he said, the first show was it. Like I thought you were going to do a big show and then it would just be going.
Really?
And I just amazed that it lasts 5 years and how big it's grown. Everywhere I go, like they know him. My doctor's office, I mean, everywhere. They're like, oh my God, there's no way you're Aunt Mary Pat. I mean, they like are froze when I tell them.
Walgreens.
Right.
Yeah, Walgreens, everywhere. Everywhere I go.
Acme by chance?
Even in Florida, we like walked off the plane and people knew him.
Are you serious?
In Tennessee, we were in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
These girls, they said, oh my God, we knew you were here. And they come running up to him. Can we please get an autograph? Like, I mean,
Just in regular clothes?
Yeah.
regular
Not
clothes. They know him as Troy too.
Wow, that's awesome.
Even him and his
Even like
daughter.
we were in Disney and it was like pouring down rain. We had ponchos on. We were soaking wet, and they were like, "Aunt Mary Pat." And it was just like it was wild. And they recognize her first, and that's how they know it's me.
Do they? Oh my God.
So they see my mom, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's Troy."
That's true. Or even in restaurants, they'll say, that's Aunt Mary Pat's mom right there. I can hear her whispering.
Right. And that's how celebrities hear, right?
Yeah.
They can't eat in peace. So then there was no question that he would end up in the entertainment business.
No.
No question.
I mean, he went to school for it. He went to Cap Calloway, Chicago, Columbia School of Arts. And I mean, back then when he went to school, I'm like, oh my God, I hope this pans out because it's TV.
Yeah, right.
And with social media, it wasn't then, you know. And I'm like, we don't live in California.
Right.
We're spending all this money on college and, you know. So, but then I'm like, oh my God, he said, who would have thought me making fun of mom and it goes viral and it, so.
So I wanted to know, you know, when Troy called you or, consulted with you in 2018, when he was like, you know what, this is going to go somewhere. I'm going to leave my day job. I feel like a mom would be like, whoa, that's kind of scary. What was your reaction to that?
I was scared, but I just, in my heart of hearts, I knew it was going to go somewhere. Like I just felt good about it. But I was nervous because I said, oh my God, what about your benefits? And you know, it was scary.
Right.
Health insurance, that's like the first thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I did. I said, what about your health insurance?
Rightly so, right. Yeah.
You know, so, but it worked. It's good.
Good. So, what, this tour that's coming up, will you go to most of the shows, all the shows? Will you go to Florida with him?
Yes, everybody's already sending me text messages which ones I'm going to because they want to be with me, make sure I'm there. So actually, we're going to sit down with two of his aunts and we're going to plan it out, like, because I can't do them all.
Of course, right.
I'd love to.
Right.
His aunt's going to go to Florida with him when he starts.
Nice.
And we're going to go from there and see who's doing what and just make sure somebody's with him at all times.
Right. No, of course.
Yeah.
So what has, I asked Troy this in the first segment, but I want to know, when people, come up to you and see you, or they're like, oh my God, why is he quitting? He's on top of the world.
Some people are crying.
Is she leaving? Yeah, no, absolutely. Just when he made the announcement, I guess in January, on his Facebook page, just reading through the comments, like, you would think that she's dying.
Oh yeah, my phone was blown up.
Right, yeah, I bet.
And they're like, how can he do this? Like, how can he do this to us? Like,
how can he do this to us?
And I'm like, don't worry, like Aunt Mary Pat will still be around. Like, she's not going to be gone. Yeah. And he's got
people are really feeling.
Oh, they're feeling it. They're like upset and crying. And I mean, they're getting me upset, and I'm like, trust me, he got more better things coming up. You know?
Yeah.
So
this is just the beginning.
Yep.
Awesome. So I have to ask you before we go, are you an Eagles fan like Aunt
Yes.
Mary Pat?
Oh, big time.
So how were you with, a few weeks ago with the Super Bowl? Are you still, I see rubbing your
my
shoulders,
heart was
it
like,
hard?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like I'm superstitious, like I have to go to the same place the last few games they won.
So she's the reason actually why they lost, and I'll tell you why.
Oh boy.
So I was hosting an event at my manager's club in Pottstown, and I invited her. I said, free food, free drink, come on up. And she was like, I can't, I'm so sorry, I love you, but I've been going to the same place for the past 4 wins, so I have to go there, otherwise they'll lose. So she goes there, and she leaves at halftime.
Because I want to get home and off the roads.
Right.
And what happens? They lose.
So he texted
So
me.
look, people, this is the reason why the Eagles lost.
And he said, the first thing he said to me, thanks for making the Eagles lose. I'm like,
Right.
I was already feeling bad enough.
Well, that's when we reached out to Troy, I was like, hey, we want to do this interview before you go on tour, but I can't do it until after the Super Bowl. I mean, we've got to talk about this stuff.
Yes.
So that's why I had to wait and do it
Absolutely.
afterwards. Right.
Yeah, I won't wear any Eagles, anything.
Nothing,
like,
right.
Not during a game.
No, oh, really?
No.
All right.
Because I never did when they were winning, so
Okay.
superstitious.
Hey, it's all right. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time. We know how busy you are, and best of luck with everything. And we hope to see you back with whatever endeavor Troy heads on to
Definitely.
next.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Our thanks to Troy's mom, Susan Hendrickson. We will be right back. She's here. She's in the building. Get ready. Aunt Mary Pat DiSabatino joins us when we come back.
How did DETV start, and how did you get here?
DETV started approximately 10 years ago in the basement of my home. I had an idea to show people of color doing great things, but what happened was I got to the point that I said, I'm gonna just show people all together doing great things. The motto and the moral was to bring people together instead of using media to rip people apart. And doing that, I just did a lot of hard work, a lot of free stuff, a lot of things of just showing people being themselves. I figured that media, and I saw that media wasn't doing that, so I just decided to give it a shot, not knowing that it would bring me to where I am today. I had a great journey doing it, met some amazing people, did some amazing things, worked on some amazing projects, and with just a lot of hard work and a bunch of sacrifice, I'm here today. I done worked on everyone's campaign in the state of Delaware. And now, you know, I'm just doing what I do and doing it with friends. My biggest accomplishment right now would have to be, this, hands down, without a doubt. We want to make sure that we inform the community wholeheartedly. So again, they can have all the information that they need. For more information, you can find us at detvch.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook under DETV. Be sure to check us out. Tell me what you think.
Don't show up. Don't show out. Don't start caring about me. Walk away. You know how. Don't start caring about me now. Don't start now. Hey, you guys, Eat Mary Pat here. Hope you're doing good. Pardon the frig out of me. So as you can see, I got my friggin' hair done at the hair cutteries today. I had a coupon from my good girlfriend, Rita Marie. You know, new year, new me, had to switch it up a little bit. Then went to the Acme, used my employee discount to get some Vidal Sassoon and spruce it up a little bit, go back to my natural hair color. Because I like the blonde, I like doing lighter colors, you know, in the summertime, but it just looks ridiculous, you know, in damn near February.
Welcome back. Well, the moment has come. Before she embarks on her final tour, aptly called Clocking Out, she's made time to stop here and talk with us here at DETV. So please welcome back to the show, the one and only Ann Mary Pat.
Hon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome
How are
back.
you?
Thanks for joining us.
Just so you know, I did use PTO time at the Acme.
You
so
did use PTO. Okay,
Jim
good.
de Blasio is.
Because he's probably watching.
He's probably watching.
So Ann Mary Pat, you know, I got to ask, you're probably being asked all the time, why now? What's
you know, I just thought, you know, I put in my 36 years at the, the tour or the Acme.
Well, both.
Okay, yeah. You know, I just put in my time. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move down to Boca and, you know, sell coconuts or something.
Now, listen, we have to talk about your attire here. I have to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm sorry. Your beloved Eagles came so close. So close.
I know.
How are you coping?
Water and prayer, mostly, and some friends. Yeah, you know, it's a rough time in our community, and I just think we all need to come together at this point.
Yeah,
it's very sad.
It's very sad. How did you watch the game?
So I was in Pottstown at Soul Joel's club, and I was hosting a viewing party, and I felt very cocky going in. I did, and then you know, after the Rihanna halftime show, she was fabulous. It just took a turn for the worst, and we never come back from that.
Couldn't come back. No, you know, you were born, Aunt Mary Pat. You were born into stardom 5 years ago when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So this would have been a perfect way.
I know.
It still was good. You know,
we made it.
You made it, right? Yeah.
In true Philly fashion, we crapped the bed in the last minute. You know, all the teams made it to the finals this year, and then, you know, just blew it. So I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to put on a really great show for the Clocking Out tour to salvage Philadelphia at this point.
You're just gonna save them. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
So listen, about the tour, many dates are completely sold out. You even had to add some. You were telling me during the break. So where are you headed, and then what isn't sold out so people can get a hold of tickets?
Well, good luck. We got scalpers at this point, which I never thought was possible for my little show. But I think we have a date in Philadelphia on April 6th at Rivers Casino. I'm really excited about that one.
My mom's favorite place.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a show in Washington Township, South Jersey, that's still on sale, which will be the biggest audience that we've ever had. It's amazing. Wow. And there's a few select dates, and we're going to California.
I saw that.
For the first time since 2020, before the pandemic. So we're going back there. You can get all the tickets at www.theauntmarypat.com. We have dates in Florida that are still available. That's where we kick off the tour. And we're looking to add a few dates outside of the tri-state too, to try to hit everybody.
Okay, all right. Now, when you go to, you know, obviously you're very well known around here.
Oh, stop.
When you go to Florida and even California, I hear you get noticed there too.
Oh yeah, I mean, people don't understand the grasp that the Philadelphia culture has on people. Right. So, you know, I go out there, Lottie friggin' da, do what I gotta do, and people are like, hey, Mary Pat, and I'm like, yeah, Alan, how are you? So it didn't matter where I go out, people recognize me. I don't know if it's the haircut, or you know, maybe it's the rouge on the cheek or something like that, but they know who I am.
No, so Anne-Marie Pat, you for those of us who know and love you and have been following you for the past 5 years, how did Dawn take the announcement of your retirement?
Oh, she was happy as a pig in insert bleep there. She was so excited for me to retire because she thinks she's gonna be the head honcho at the Acme, and it ain't happening.
No.
I'm still gonna go in there.
So
I'm
you're
gonna make sure they're doing their job.
Take charge.
But Dawn is who she is, and I don't know if you watched my latest video, but I was going to meet her at Chickies and Pete's to watch the game for a little bit before I head up to Pottstown, and she's like, I got a seat for you. So I'm driving up there, go in, come to find out she sold my seat.
Oh boy.
For beer money.
So
I'm done with Dawn
You're
officially.
done with Dawn
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. So I also want to ask you, when you're up there performing, you've done this now for 5 years.
Yes.
Right? And the crowds have grown and grown and grown. What means the most to you when you're up there performing in front of your fans?
So the coolest thing to me, because as you know, I am the Stevie Nicks of Delco,
Of course.
the Aretha Franklin of the Philadelphia region. When I sing my songs and people know all the words and sing them back to me, that is just so cool to me. When I sing Down the Shore or Doing Good or ASSHOLE, people are always like, oh, they know the words. It's so fun. It's so fun to me.
Now, speaking of songs, you have a couple albums out that you've put out over the past years, but there's going to be one more, right?
Yes, so the Greatest Hits album is going to accompany the tour. We have a new song called Clockin' Out that's coming out soon, made with my amazing collaborator, Kendall King, who's done most of my songs with me. And it'll celebrate all the, today's hits and yesterday's favorites. I am the WJBR of the tri-state,
Exactly. I have to tell you, I was going through your videos before this interview and just like rewatching the ones that's just some of my favorite ones. I have to tell you, it wasn't a long one, but one of my favorite ones, I think it was Thanksgiving, and you had to go up in the bathroom with a glass of wine and just lock the door and hide from your family.
Yes.
And just get away for a minute.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to. I related the most to that.
I just don't like, and I think I said it in the video, don't offer to bring something if you show up empty-handed.
Etiquette.
Don't offer, you know?
Right.
If you're going to say you're bringing the rolls, bring the rolls.
Right.
Bring the rolls. That's it.
Nice. So, for those of us that have seen you before, what can we expect in the Clocking Out tour?
So, we're going to bring some news stories, also everyone's favorites as well. So, we're going to celebrate the past while also, talking about the future as well. So, it'll be very Acme, Eagles, Wawa centric, but also talking about some of the things that I've done that led me to this point to Clocking Out. Also, your favorite songs, and we're going to work in the new one, Clocking Out as well.
Nice. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, you had mentioned that one of your idols is Stevie Nicks.
Yes.
Right? So, she's coming to Philly this summer, and I need to know if you're going to go see her.
Oh, hon, I can't afford that.
No.
No. Oh my God, it's so expensive. I looked it up. I gotta sell a house to afford those tickets.
No, they're
With Billy Joel
pricey.
too?
Right.
No way.
No.
Can't afford it.
You just listen to the CD.
If anyone's out there, if you got an extra ticket, take your Aunt Mary Pat, because I took care of you when you was growing up.
There you go. There you go. You heard it here. So, maybe, if she hears your greatest hits album, she'll, give you a ticket or something.
I
Who
heard
knows?
Stevie Nicks don't have a cell phone. She don't have no internet. She makes her assistant look it up, so she probably don't know who I am.
Really?
But I will. Stevie Nicks, if you're watching, please invite me to
She
your
does.
tour so I can see you.
You heard it here. Perfect. So, a lot of people ask Anne-Marie Pat, speaking of Stevie Nicks and the like, Cher, Elton, they've all gone on these retirement tours.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a tour like that, or is this a real retirement
Catch
tour?
me on the Farewell Tour Part 2 2024. No, I'm just kidding. This is it for me. I'm retiring, moving to Boca.
All right.
I still will do some, I've done a lot of charity events and fundraisers, so I'll continue to do that work, doing the Lord's work after the tour, special events and stuff like that. But this is the final tour to catch me for this series of shows. So I'm very excited.
So it kicks off the beginning of March.
March 1st.
Right, and that's down in Florida.
Yes, St. Augustine, Florida.
All right, and then you're going to make your way back up here.
Back
the
up
Philly
here,
area.
all around California.
California.
And then we finish with the roast beef and beer of Aunt Mary Pat, June 17th in Pottstown.
How perfect.
How perfect, right?
That's perfect. And then
Some of my favorite comics are going to roast me. I'm going to roast them. We're all going to have a good time. Probably hate each other by the end.
yeah. What are you going to do after that final date?
I'm going on a cruise. So I'm
Are
very
you?
excited. Yes, I'm done. I'm out. I'm clocking out.
clocking
Going on a
out.
cruise. You won't see me for most of July.
So I want to know, in my final question here, Aunt Mary Pat, after June and after you retired down there, how do you want to be remembered?
Well, I think, the most beautiful woman in Delco, the diamond jewel of Philadelphia, the patron saint of Delaware County, just those things, a trifle really. No, I want to go out remembered as putting on a good show, being the best Acme employee that I could be, being polite at the Wawa, and being one of the greatest Eagles fans of all time. What more can you ask for?
No, you couldn't.
You know.
Couldn't. We have to say, Aunt Mary Pat, you have been a friend of this show and have come on here many times throughout throughout the past 5 years, and we appreciate it. And you never say no to us. You always come. You're very busy. We know how famous you are. You always come and make time. So we want to thank you very much. And you truly have. We talked about it in previous segments. Really have brought people together. People who may not have come to see shows like this before, and to make them laugh and to feel like they've known you their entire life.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you when you hear that and they're like, I have an Aunt Mary Pat, and you're just like her.
Well, I am your aunt.
Right.
So I want everyone to know that I am your aunt. You can call me. Just don't ask me for money because I ain't got none. But if you need a shoulder to lean on, an ear to talk to, I'm your aunt. I'm always here.
Always here.
And happy just to have the amazing support that I do, and to go out and see all those smiling faces, and to hear people talking as they leave the show, like, oh my God, that was so much fun. I needed that. Like,
Right.
that just makes me feel
That
good.
makes it all worth it.
Yes.
Right? Excellent. Well, Aunt Mary Pat, we could sit here all day and chat with you, but we know you need to get on tour, so we will make sure that you get along with that. But we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Where can we keep up with you? Learn about tour dates, videos.
So follow my Instagrams, my Facebooks. I'm on TikToks now. That's what all the kids are doing. And visit www.theauntmarypat.com for show information and to keep up with me.
Excellent. We will do that. Aunt Mary Pat, best of luck on the tour.
Thank you.
We will be there to support you, and we're so excited we will be there. Our thanks to Aunt Mary Pat for being here for DETV. You can catch her. TheAuntMaryPat.com is her website. We wish you the best of luck in all the going forward and on your tour and on your retirement. And we look forward to following you online in the future. So thank you so much. I'm Matt Ford. Thank you so much for joining this special with Aunt Mary Pat. We'll see you next time.